Peace, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Israel Doctrine's Google Hangout. I'm your host, Carl Lavin, and you have now entered into the Hangout. And we got our brother here today. Mercy L talks with us. He is the acting ambassador of the Conscious community. He deals with the consciouscommunity.com. And we're going to talk about, what his role as being the ambassador and things of that nature are, and how things should go. So peace, brother. How you doing?
How you doing, Israel?
I'm good. Could you please tell the people, your name, where you from, and give them a little background history of who you are?
Okay. My name is Mercy L. I'm from Chicago, and I got in tune, I guess, with the conscious community that's online through YouTube, watching Brooklyn more. And but we have a conscious community in Chicago. It's sort of different. But in Chicago, I was helping or dealing with gangs and helping with peace treaties and truces and stuff like that. And I would catch, the videos and stuff like that. And it was a way for me, after I've dealt with the gangs or whatever, or the street organizations. It was knowledge of self that actually helped pull me out of it. So that's the knowledge of self, which was what you was finding on these channels. And so I was interested in turning them on to that. And so that's when I started getting involved as far as the international or the national conscious community, which now is, we went international. So with that, paid attention, was a listener or whatever, and turn a couple of people on or whatever. But what got me involved with working with the conscious community hands-on was the fact that they were asking for someone to help build a site, a social networking site. A lot of the conscious community members was getting put in Facebook jail, and they were saying how we needed our own and this, that, and the third. And Peel had a show with his STEAM initiative, and he put a word out for someone in the conscious community to actually help with the site, help build a site if they had the talent or something like that, or donate. So I contacted them and told them that I would build a site for them. If they would, if they would come on and, promote it and actually sit as an ambassador. Peel was supposed to sit as the ambassador. So I built the site and everything, and I wind up having to spend time going around talking to each one of the leaders, trying to get them involved, because what the site basically was supposed to be us all coming together, just under one umbrella and getting organized. Didn't matter what you was, what nationality, what organization, blah, blah, blah. It didn't matter. So I went and talked to the majority of the leaders of the conscious community, and had some that agreed to come over, and some agreed to come over but didn't really participate and things like that. But so that's where I wind up becoming an active acting ambassador. So that's what put me in this role, because trying to get other people to step up. So I had to take the initiative, and that's when I, started going around talking to people like yourself and telling them what the vision was and what we had planned for the conscious community in order for us to get organized.
Okay. So now the site is up. I've seen it advertised by a lot of people and stuff. What didn't happen with the advertisement and things of that nature? Because people not advertising it as much, and has that stopped the membership from the site from going down, or is it still, at an active pace of membership joining? And where's the site at now?
Well, the site is growing slowly, and the advertising has stopped. I was paying for the advertising. I've contacted several members in the conscious community who had active pages on YouTube and advertised with a couple of them. Uh, but the message wasn't getting out. The agreement was that if I built the site, that Peel would spearhead it, since he was in front of the camera and stuff like that. And so since that didn't happen, I started advertising, like I advertised with Sanetta, I advertised with Black Magic. I mean, I've contacted In the Black, Canadian Moors, everybody. This was supposed to bring everybody in. And so as far as advertising now, no, we're not advertising. We're not advertising like that. What I'm doing now is steadily, I'm going to the people now, basically. This is an attempt to go to the people, because it's the people who's going to have to do this.
Okay. So how could the people get in contact with you, or, make their way onto the site if they hear this show and say, well, let me go over there and see what I can do, or be a part of this?
They can go to consciouscommunity.com and sign up and start participating. It's actually a networking site which was supposed to replace Facebook for us. So we wouldn't have to end up in Facebook jail. We could say what we wanted to say. But this site over here was actually supposed to promote the good part of the conscious community, the family values, what we're doing in the conscious community, not the bickering and all that stuff. That wasn't supposed to be on there. Not the constant pictures of the police shooting us. All those things have effect on our psyche. And it's been said that, Facebook is a experiment. And most of the people in the conscious community, they'll tell you this, but we still participate. And so this would have gave us the chance to get away from that constantly bombarding of those negative images. And so we can start promoting ourselves and what we want the conscious community to be.
So what is the safeguard in the site to stop, stuff like that?
Well, we have securities in place to stop. Just like any other major Facebook, we have the same securities in place to stop whatever issues. Now, it being the conscious community, we would start policing ourselves. So if you see your brother posting something that shouldn't be posted, you'd call him on it, and it should be no problem with that. So that's what it was supposed to be, us starting to self-govern ourselves. And so the bickering and all that stuff was supposed to, be at a stop.
So what is the actual working of the flagging or this and that, and how do y'all deal with the IP addresses that violating rules and regulations of the community?
Okay. With that, the person would flag them. We would actually sit down and review it and see what the problem was, and we would deal with it accordingly. Now, if it was something that was just, out of order, blah, 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 we would ban this IP. We would ban the person's IP, and they wouldn't be allowed on the site anymore. And if, any other things, we'd send a letter to your house, let you know that, these things is not acceptable.
Now, when you say block an IP, that means any computer that's coming off of that IP address
would not be accepted.
Okay.
And so,
okay.
yeah, and you all have a lot of problems when you all do your YouTube videos with these bogus accounts and, you know, people coming on and they got, you know, swaying the conversation or saying things that's negative or that's not pertaining to the conversation. With our chat rooms over there, once you block the IP, they can't come back. So
Okay.
it's not you, you know, banning them and then they coming back with their other account. That's not going to be possible. And so it keeps a sense of integrity over there.
Okay, which we need that in the community. We need that. So a community that polices itself. Wow, who would have ever thought? So, what other things do it provide over there? Do it provide uploading videos? Like, do y'all have the site capable of where you don't have to go upload videos to YouTube to bring it over there, or other
Yes.
sites, but you directly upload video over there? How do that work?
Yes, you can upload videos directly to the site. You can share them through YouTube. Now, the only thing that you can't do is share through Facebook, because Facebook, we have to come into an agreement where you share information with Facebook, and that's part of the reason why our site is, you know, much better for our community, because we would never sell your information to a third party like Facebook would do. So,
Okay. So what else do y'all promote over there? On it actually a while back, and I see that you got like an honors program or a program where people can actually, you know, participate in a voting system to elect people and set up different things over there. Could you explain to me what's the process in that?
okay, that's the virtual community going to reality community, where we start electing our leaders and officials for the community, so that we can start doing things in the real world. Put it like that. So we have polls over here, so that we can have polls and we can have elections. We have boards. We have a political board. Let me give me a second. Let me pull everything up. One second, my bad. Okay, we have boards over here to where we would have elections. One of the main elections would be the president of the conscious community. So that we would have that figurehead that would actually lead the conscious community. That's not what I'm here to do as far as acting ambassador or ambassador. Ambassador job is to make sure that the groups in the community are coinciding with each other and making sure that things run smooth. The president actually guides the direction of the conscious community. So we would have an election for the leader of the conscious community, and he would put forth his plan on the direction that the conscious community would go. So that would be the president. We also have with that a board of politics. So we would have a board where the president and it would be like our Congress. And so they would sort of decide certain things on how, you know, the term of the presidency, the term of, you know, the term of the people on the board, what their goals are, how they're going to do the budget, things like that is what the political board would actually be somewhat in charge of.
So it's a sustainable community where once it gets started, the people will sustain it themselves by being active in the political process and everything else.
Right. It's a way to teach us civics amongst ourselves. I used to, you know, I worked with politics. I've sat on boards and stuff like that. And so, community organizer, I know how to do that. So I took those talents and put those into the community so that it can jumpstart us and move us into a realm of where we need and want to be. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for leadership. We're saying, oh, this guy's leading this guy's leading this. But if we all come and have our own election, and then go from there. So yeah, once we get it started, then it's sustainable. Every depending on, what the board comes up with, we have our election, and then another president comes in and he has another agenda, and he has an agenda on how he wants the community to go. So it's just like how the U.S. works. And that's what we have to sort of learn how to operate amongst ourselves, so that we can learn how to operate in their game, or in that game, in the political game. And this is a way for us to be able to first self-govern ourselves. We want to say, well, we're going to go out here and get into their politics and this, that, and other, but we got to learn our politics with ourselves. We got to get our numbers together, and we got to get our numbers on one accord. And so with our president, that'll be our one accord. Some of the duties would be to recommend local politics and stuff like that, or who we should vote for in the real world, things like that. So we have several different boards. It's not just the president or the politic board. We have a board of education, where we have a lot of people that's trying to homeschool. So this board of education would actually put together a program. Well, this would be their first assignment as far as the board, since everything would be new. And then once they get in, they'll determine what their next step is.
Well, curriculum and different stuff, books and different stuff
like that, and history and all that. So
how do you feel about people that's using the term? Because I believe Ali Muhammad owns the term, or got it copyright or whatever, patent or whatever, with the C, conscious community. You got it with the K. So how do you feel about people using the name or using the term conscious community and acting a certain way, which in all actuality puts a bad look on the brand or the name that you currently trying to shape and mold into something positive in the community?
Well, see, that's the reason why I actually got involved, because I was bringing people that I was dealing with that were dealing with, street organizations and stuff over here, and me putting my name to this community, saying, hey, I'm a part of this. And I saw how it was going. And so that's why I grabbed the name, in order to protect us. And so it's funny that first it was to protect us from outside sources, but now it's to protect us from us destroying ourselves. So with that said, what I'm determining or coming up with is the fact that the conscious community is wide. We have a conscious community in New York. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We have a conscious community Chicago. We have a conscious community Atlanta. We have a conscious community Texas. All these and all of these places are part of the conscious community. Now, are you
in the conscious community, or is current places there's pretty much conscious community right now?
Now, say that again. I didn't hear that.
Are you saying there's places currently there known for conscious community, this or that, or are you saying there's a conscious community in that? How are you, relaying that?
With us, what I've come into knowledge of is that Atlanta, they have their own, how they do their consciousness. New York has their own, how they have their own conscious set. Chicago has their own conscious set. So, we've got sectors that's acting a fool, but us as a whole, or our city or whatever, we have to take control of our sector and mold it into what we want it to be in. And that's one of the things that our conscious community allows us to do with ambassadors, because we elect ambassadors from each city, and those ambassadors deal with the organizations and the individuals in that city. So then that pulls into the national conscious community. So we're about structure so that we can make things work, and so that we can turn our community around and make it look like what we want it to look like.
So do y'all currently have on your site site of the map in these different locations where you lay things out like that and say you know, rep your state? I know at the same time as I had my brother on here speaking the other day, he was talking about what's a state, what's a city, and things of that nature, and that within itself territorial stuff brings about division too. But do y'all currently have a site map or something showing?
Yeah, we have a site map. So when you join and you put your your information in, it'll show the city that you're in, and it'll show everybody that's in that city. And our goal is for you to connect with those people in that city, because we believe that you start, you know, not only do we have to start voting in the conscious community and electing leaders, but we have to turn that into, you know, the real world and start voting on a local level. So right there, that puts you in the company of the same people that's in your area, so that you all could start networking with each other, start voting locally, so that you all could start changing your situation. So yes, on our site we have a map that allows people to connect with other people in their city. And yes, everybody's, you know, territorial, but this is just how we are. And so, but this also gives everybody a voice, you know, because that ambassador for say Georgia, you know, he might want to petition the board for resources for Georgia, like how you all want venues, you know, y'all might want a venue down there that y'all might want the conscious community to sponsor. So that ambassador can petition the board and say, hey, look, you know, we would like to do such and such and have a such and such speaking down there. And, you know, so that would be that would be part of that ambassador's job, so that everybody is getting taken care of. You know, everybody's being looked after in our conscious community.
So in the current positions that you have available to be voted on and dealt with, how long a period at this time starting off do you give? This is a 4-year election cycle, a year, 2 years? So is that something that you create along the way? You know, how do that work, the election cycles, similar to the civics that we working with in America today, or is it another type of blueprint?
Okay. Right now, every position that'll be held will be only for a year, because everybody will be new to this. So everybody will be getting in and trying to fill out where they fit in, and we'll be pushing or trying to come up with agendas. So this way, if you get in there, you might get in there and be like, oh, I can't handle this, or such and such. Or you might get in there and you might not be doing that good of a job. And so this time, it being the beginning, giving everybody a year to sort of get their feel, and then having another election. So during that year, if you was outstanding and you get back and you come back up for re-election and you get elected, then that's how that's going to work. But what we'll be doing through this process, through that year, is that board will be determined. Well, the political board will be determining how long these positions will be held. You know, they might be moving to where after the year is up, then we have an election. We might say, well, let's make it a 2-year term. So this way we can sort of learn, and we don't get stuck with someone 4 years that's not doing what he's supposed to do. And then now we have to run an impeachment process.
Right. Well, but that would be more of, as we do currently, or it claimed to be, well, I guess it is done currently, that you know, the Senate and the other branches get 2 years and the president get 4. where you could change the politics around the president and really don't have to change his administration.
Right.
In that sense, where the people still are doing most of the governing, and the one person is doing more of the, lead position and pointing you in the direction, being the president, right?
Right. And the thing is, I'm leaving it open because as acting ambassador, I'm just trying to get it started, trying to jumpstart for everybody to get into position and for actually the community to decide what they want.
Well,
So, yeah.
what code of conduct have the community adopted, or is that's also set aside until people start filling seats and
Yeah.
active vote on a code of conduct?
Well, the site has been up since March. Our goal was actually to sign a peace treaty with everybody in July. We were supposed to take July 4th and make it ours, since everybody's going to celebrate it anyway. But that's passed. But our goal is to come up with the political board is to come up with a treaty and a code of conduct, so that we all, at that given time, we all sign the treaty, and it becomes a treaty between our nations, the Israelites, the RBGs, the Moors, and whoever else. If you consider yourself individual, the Pan-Africans, all these groups would have their opportunity to sign on the dotted line to that truce and abide by that truce.
But a truce and a treaty to deal with what particular aspects? Because we have debates going on. I don't see nothing wrong with debates, but the things that and the attitudes that carry beyond the debates are the things that I think detrimental to the community. So me myself, if I was sitting in any chair, I myself would most definitely change the rules of debate to more of a Robert rules,
right,
or something that we create ourselves that's more structural, where we don't have to have the nigga shit going on. I'm just gonna say it the way it needs to be said, for is my perspective on it. And change the rules of the debate so we can have something that we can apply after we get through debating, something that we have learned, instead of just the makeshift titles and topics that come up today to sensationalize the debate, to just make it a money making opportunity instead of a money and educational opportunity. And outside of that, what other treaties or things would we need to, just right now, since you're the ambassador, would you bring to the table for people to deal with and vote on? Because it hasn't turned into any physical altercations. We done had verbal altercations. We done had people addresses put up, people, parents, children, wives, pictures and stuff put up, things of this nature. So in seeing the current condition and chaos that exists in the community, what type of peace treaty would you advocate for?
Well, that definitely, all those things is straight a violation. Nowhere that you're supposed to be doing any of those things. The disrespect, I think a lot of it is the disrespect and the personal attacks is what turns that atmosphere into that. So I think if we can, the board and the community would have to come up with this, but this is just my take on it. But we would have to come away from that disrespect element, because I think in that the disrespect element is what sets it all off, and we would have to have things. We have a board of elders, and that board of elders, when you have a issue with someone, you bring it amongst the board of elders, and that board of elders gets to decide whether or not, that how that thing goes. And we can, start with fines, we can start with shuns, things like that we can do in our community to sort of bring some order. So, but but yeah, one of the most things is the disrespect that definitely has to go into the, somehow go wording into the treaty. What a man believes, and so, but I'm not. I don't profess to be a scholar, and and I understand that that's what you all do. That's your battle round and stuff like that. I do politics, and that's my thing, and that's a dirty game. I don't believe in the personal attacks and stuff like that. But somehow you all would have to come away from those personal attacks, get into some type of agreement on those personal attacks, because I believe that that's where that comes from. All that calling each other first, calling each other out. You don't call another man out their name. You know what I'm saying? All
Well,
that stuff.
let me ask you this: what would be the type of conversation for as punishments or military perspective to this community that will be the vanguard that will protect us, or do things of that nature? Because in any aspect, with like you got the Black Panthers and different stuff, they go and protect stuff and have a military type arm to them, and you also have the FOI, which is like a military arm of the Nation of Islam. So by any means, are you talking about having something to do that? Because when you got rules, laws, regulations, and statutes of that nature, you may be able to ban somebody since doing business or stuff that nature. But what type of punishment can arrive for doing these things? If you feel where I'm going with that, because
now you're talking about punishment as far as dealing with the community or outside of the community.
Well, the community, because I'm one that believes in like the mafia standards of Murder Inc. and stuff. At some point, you say, well, some people are made; they can't be touched unless you vote up on it. If you touch the person, then you will see repercussions because you didn't get permission from others to touch one. At the same time,
this.
You don't want to keep a personal issue going on by two parties that sit at the table touching each other. So you might have to call more of a mercenary outside force like Murder Inc. That's what was created in the mafioso movies or whatever. You could say books or whatever, where people use an outside entity to come through and take care of people that's just totally corrupt and trying to use the system and hurt the system.
Well, we can't as a community advocate that type of institute, because we're governed by another entity, the United States. So we can't issue anything. The thing is, we have to be about each other and have a love for one another, that if that brother is found guilty of whatever it is, then we all have to be on one accord when it comes to, either outcasting him or whatever, or him being, or that person being fined, and all be in agreement to that person has done what they needed to do to come back into the community. For us to sit up here and say that, we're going to be, doing, that's not what conscious community is on, because that's not how the political structure, even though we know they act like that, you know what I'm saying, but that's not how the political structure of the game outside of us that we have to deal with works, per se. So we have to sort of base it along those lines. Now, our goal is to get ourselves in order, start dealing in politics in our communities, local, state, and also part of the political board is a research team to look in the best ways so that we can start representing ourselves on an international by ourselves. You know, this I don't want to throw what you call it, but our own working on our own sovereignty, so that where this research board will find the best way that we can actually obtain that.
Maybe
Then
maybe autonomy might be a better word, that it's
okay,
not nice and looked at like
yeah.
that sovereignty.
Yeah. Okay, autonomy. Oh yeah, because people start running, whatever. But well, actually govern ourselves, and not only that, we're backed by the African Union or the UN. But we have to get recognized first. Then we can start pushing those type of measures. But we can't push those type of measures knowing that that the United States governs us. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody does that, you already know, where that goes. And the thing is, like I say, we're trying to come away from that type of dealing. Like I say, I deal with cats in Chicago, so you already know that's the code. So, but I'm trying to put them that's why I was bringing them over to the conscious community, so that they can get in a mind frame to where they're not dealing with their problems like that. So if we start dealing with our problems like that, that makes us no better. So we have to just like I believe the Jewish community might shun, or the the ones that ride the horse and buggy, they might shun and push their people out. But those people that be like, well, that's my buddy or whatever, that they have to show some moral integrity and realize that, hey, your friend did wrong, and as for us to stand as a nation, this is what we have to do. And if those people are not willing to do that, then they don't deserve to be a part of the community. And we have to look at them like that. We have to stop doing business with them.
Well, that's the whole thing with the IP address. So that's one of the safe mechanisms, right? Let's get into this. What are the benefits and stuff for one that comes into this community? Network only, or what beyond networking? Which networking itself is a great benefit. If you do it right, then you receive extra help from other people. But is it like insurance plans for people and families over there?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm just trying to waking your thoughts to speak on some of these matters. So,
well, first of all, it's us being organized. We got everything, or we got clothes, we've got programs, we've got schools, we've got this, we got that. One thing we don't have is unity. So this is what that gives us. That's the benefit of coming over here, is an agreement on unity. So if you can't really see that, you know what I'm saying, then it's hey, because we got everything else. We got people in our circles with money. We got everything else. The one thing we don't have is unity. Now, when you come over here, like it's a membership site, and so that membership goes towards certain things. One of the things it goes towards is an elder program, so that we'll be putting 20% of our membership towards an elder program, so that when we have our elders, that maybe we can, instead of put them in a nursing home, we get our own nursing home. That was one of the things that Conscious Community was trying to do. We actually were doing a land development. We were trying to get a land development together, but I couldn't get the leaders on board. And like I say, I was trying to get them to do, since they're already in front of the camera and everything, and they've already got, the people, wanting to do these things. All they had to say was, hey, look, I'm doing the leg work. I was out there doing the leg work, so I have found land and everything like that, where we could have had all these things, where we have our own nursing home.
Yeah, well, currently, let me say this. Somebody have me blocked in the chat. Conscious Community Doc.
Okay.
This is the site, people. You can see people are actually in there. I was trying to type and speak to the chat. So this is somewhat of the layout. So I don't know what that said. I still hit it. So this is somewhat the layout. You can see the messages and different stuff. You know, site map and everything. So, you know, join, you know, try to reap the benefits of it. Check it out. The more people join, the more people do things, the more allow for people to get more innovative, spend more money on it, you know.
Yeah.
Do those things.
Like I say, we're working on our app. We've been working on it, had a couple of bugs and everything like that, but we're pushing it, and so that'll be for download. And some of the other things like the Facebook features that people, you know, grown accustomed to like and everything, we're bringing them over so that you can have all those things. You know, we understood that you know, transferring from one other site to another is very hard for us. So we tried to make it comfortable so that people, you know, could transition right. But the biggest thing on the transition on why you should learn is because it's ours. You know, Facebook is not going to put any money back into the Black community. You know, they might give it to Black Lives Matter, and I don't know where that money is going, but they're not going to put it, especially not in the conscious community. This is for us. This is our chance to build something. I mean, if we've all sat back and said, well, what if we had a Bill, what's his name, Mark Zuckerberg? Well, you have a chance to have a Mark Zuckerberg that wants to help the community. You know, so the thing is to get involved and start letting things happen and start making things happen rather. And so, and part of, like I said, part of that membership goes to a physical budget. That physical budget goes to the president and the political party to decide what they're going to do. Because what good is a nation or without money, you know, without some type of physical budget in order to do things. So this is what we're doing to make sure that we can function.
Okay, let's talk about some of the features. The video, you say you can upload. You can actually upload video straight to the site without, you know, using YouTube and things of that nature.
Yes. Now our goal is actually, like I say, as the more people join, the more features get on, and to actually sort of bring our own little YouTube into play. So, you know, those things will eventually come around, but you can do those things. And what we do.
So how long of a file can you put in there?
There is a max. I would have to see the max.
Yeah.
Let me see.
But for the most, you can put a two minute or so and so.
Yeah.
Clip in there enough to advertise a commercial or two.
Yeah, and I believe you was able to upload some of your videos, right?
Well, off of YouTube, I think I put.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But I was wondering about that myself when I was going through there.
Yeah, like I say, and we also have when you get on, we have where, you know, we have a administrator that will come and help you with anything that you need. You know, saying how to upload, how to, you know, do what you need to do so you can navigate through the site.
Okay.
You know, like I say, and so, you know, like I said, basically the site is our own Facebook, and what we're looking for is for people to promote, you know, what they're doing in the community, family values and stuff, because it was a time where, you know, in the conscious community where you could post your family pictures without people, you know what I'm saying, doing something stupid to them. And we want to bring that back. We want to promote the family. We want to promote, you know, a good environment to show our community in a good light, because right now it's a negative light shining on it. And so, you know, those.
Oh, it's most definitely that.
Mm-hmm. So.
So I really don't know what else to ask about the site and, you know, the process of doing things.
Okay.
Is it anything that you feel has been left out? I guess I can ask that question and we could go from there.
Let me see. Just wanted to name some of the boards that if people are interested, you know, because we are looking for ambassadors for each state. Now, one of the requirements is going to be that for an ambassador of the state, you're going to have you join the site, but you need at least 100 people to back you on that ambassadorship, since you're going to be representing the state. And so we have the ambassadors for the states. We have the Court of Appeals, which is the elders. We one of the elders that did say that they would sit on the board is James Smalls. He said he would. He said he would sit on the board. He agreed to it and everything. So, you know, those are some of the elders. We would like some of the other elders recommended. I spent a lot of time not talking to the elders. I was actually trying to get some of this rah-rah down, talking to some of the, I guess, the scholars in the community that's really doing most of the bickering. And so we're looking for some elders to sit on the elder board. So any recommendations would be to sit on the Court of Appeals. We also have a board of
Let me
health.
ask you about the elder. What determines an elder? Age, activities. What is it that determines who's the elder and how they should have access to sit on the elders board?
Well, age is definitely a factor, you know, because with age was supposed to come wisdom. So I'm thinking of at least the elders would have to be about 60, you know what I'm saying, or 55 and older. Really, I'm thinking 60 and older. Definitely active in the community, you know, because like I said, each community has different type of elders, you know, that's doing things. So, and then the community, as the elders sit on the board, the political would actually have some type of governance over, okay, is this elder qualified? Just like appointments to the Supreme Court. So all these things will be worked out. But the thing is, I didn't want to work on myself. I wanted the community to participate so that we can all say it's ours, you know.
So let me ask this: in the future, is I know it could be worked out and things of that nature, and you need a board to do so. But from your perspective, seeing that it ain't got all the way started and stuff, do you see salaries becoming a part of the situation? And please tell us exactly what it takes to get, you know, in the site. You know what I'm saying? Because some people might think that you got to pay to become a part of that. So, you know, somebody's saying something in the chat. I want to address that. So
Okay.
I believe it's free, people. I didn't pay to get in there.
Well, it actually is a membership site. So it is a membership, a monthly membership. The monthly membership is $3.
Yeah.
Now, so that, you, like I said, that goes into a budget, which we have maintenance. We have a physical budget that we have to attend to, and we have an elders program, and then, you know, the investors that, you know, put the money up to, you know, make sure to keep the site function. That's been keeping the site function. So
yeah. So in the months to come, then, you know, things might kick in for me. But right now, you know, I'm just cruising the site, trying to see what's going on and trying to network and find out what's going on in there. If anybody interested in, I can send you a link to the site, and you know, so you can sign up and do things like that and see what's going on. But, you know, just hit me up if you want to know about it, and what I can share with you.
And the thing is, like I said, we can't have a community or governing board that doesn't have a physical budget. Then it's not going to work like that. And so this gives us the opportunity to create a physical budget, to buy land, to do those things. I'm a real estate agent, so those things are all in play, you know, but we have to be able to do it. We have to do it as a community. This has to be our project. And so if you're serious about it and, these things that you say you want, it comes with an investment. This is why the Jews have what they have, because they invest. That's why they got their Jewish YMCAs now. The Polish, they invest in their communities. We have to invest so that we can buy institutions, and so with our board without a financial budget, it's not going to work like that. No government board does not have a financial budget. So where are we supposed to get it from? It would be the tax revenue from us. So, but.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, that's why I said it benefits, because if it benefit people in a proper manner, in a proper way, they'll come over and they'll deal with it.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If it don't benefit them, they might, or they don't see no benefit in it, then
Yeah, one of the projects that, if you go on the site, one of the projects we have is the Detroit project, where we actually, which I was inspired by Sarah Susetti, who did a video of a school, and I couldn't believe, of a school that was vacant in Detroit. I just couldn't believe that. You know what I'm saying? But then I did the knowledge, and I found that they had several schools abandoned in Detroit. So I made a couple of trips up to Detroit. Scouted out some property, and I actually found some property and that we can invest. I contacted the people that own the property and everything like that, and the goal was to get the community behind it, so it's there on what we plan on doing. So take a look at the Detroit project. Not only is it a school, but it's a development project. So once we get the school, then we have to develop the area. You know what I'm saying? So it's all there. And then there's other projects that we can work on. But like I say, this school would allow for us. It had an auditorium, allow for us to now hold our lectures there. And the goal was to make the school actually coding school. We were going to set up a school to teach coding, because, like I say, resources we don't really own, as far as blacks. We don't really own resources, but with the technology age, we can pull our resources out of thin air, and coding is out of thin air. So that was one of the things that we were going to teach, along with, having a lecture circuit for our scholars and stuff like that there. And we having our own building. So, and, we it was our own institution. Not only that, on the property, it had a nursing home, that we can grab up to actually with our elders, things like that. Hopefully they don't get to the state where they have to, but if they do, guess what? They're in our care. So these are the things that other nations or other communities do. And so we have to start thinking and acting like that. We can't keep sitting around talking about, we should have, or we should have. Okay, now the opportunity is here. Now it's on the people. Do we really want it? Because the plans have been set, and all that needed now is the participation.
Yeah, well, as we see, you like you said, you pushed it through ads, and you had people helping, and you really couldn't get it up and going and running. Hopefully, after this interview and things, it'll help it more. Is this your first interview where you explain how things go?
Yeah. This is my first interview. Like I said, I didn't. It wasn't my thing to take on the ambassador. Uh, like I say, one more face added to this already testosterone thing. I just we already had people that were out there that I want that people trusted and believed or whatever, such and such, and I wanted them to, promote, because these are the same people that's asking them, well, what do we, well, let's get something, let's own something, let's do something. And so, you're asking scholars to be builders, or, when we have to look and say we have a community, and other communities, what I'm saying, you don't go to the plumber to do your electrician work. So we have to
Yeah,
look at.
I mean, I'm feeling you 100% where people, because we be talking about boots on the ground, where we have been talking about boots on the ground and different stuff over here. And we talking about, been talking about people building centers and doing stuff. But, this is called a conscious community, or been called a conscious community by many for years now. And, the community aspect of it has been missing. And it seemed as if you didn't put the solution out there, especially starting with, the social media or social networking. And, I don't see why people haven't been pumping it like that. That's why I told you, I was like, and as you said, you don't like doing interviews, but I'm like, man, you got to explain to the people what it is. You got to explain to the people, because if you leave it up to other individuals, they're not going to push your product, or they're not going to push the information like it should. They're not going to share. They're not going to share your love and compassion and sentiments for, what it is you're trying to do. So I think maybe after tonight, a lot of people might find themselves, easing on over, at least to see what it's about more now.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. So that we could start building. So we're not at this same situation next year.
Because I was sort of confused when I first seen it. I thought it was a Sonetta venture.
Yeah, I had some individuals contact me, and was like, oh, that's Sonetta's product, and I had to explain to them, no, I'm advertising, and I called them to advertise. I called everybody to advertise, because it's a group effort. It's the community. My goal was to bring us all together so that we can build. This is in the conscious community is where we're going to. It's like our UN. Where we if we warring outside, we put all that down when we come into this conscious community virtual. You know what I'm saying? And we do business, and we work together on building. We're gonna have to, leave that, that we're gonna have to be able to leave that at the door so that we can start building. And so my goal was to, contact everybody, and some people, my emails get lost, because you have a lot of people contacting, individuals, because I think I contacted you earlier, and then we finally got in touch. I think I might have sent you something a while ago. Then I finally was able to get in tune with you.
As I said, I thought you was a Sonetta entity, or Sonetta, and I was like,
Yeah.
Hell no.
And the thing was, those were the Rich from Black Magic, and Sonetta was the only ones that actually got back with me. Rich, I did business with Rich, enjoyed doing business with Rich. But yeah, those were the only two entities that actually got back to me.
Yeah, I don't know how you broke through to me. I forget exactly, but
yeah, I don't know how I got through.
Yeah, once we talked to each other on the phone, I was like, oh, okay. I thought this was something else.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just the stigma that comes from the platforms that you was advertising on deterred me. It might have deterred other people too. So like I said, with people hearing you speak and dealing with this, maybe now people will be like, oh, it's not a Sonetta brand. It's not this. It's not more confusion. It's somebody really with a vision and a plan. and they're trying to bring it into, manifest it into being. So hopefully after tonight, we see a peak in things, a rise in membership and activity over there.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. I'm really eager to, really help the community build. Like say we got a great opportunity to grab a piece of property, you know, uh, in the heart of Detroit. I know it's not where everybody, is at, but it's a great location, and we have an opportunity and a window to grab this. Uh, and make things happen for us. So that's one thing, and it's also a great opportunity for us to stop the bickering and actually come into one governance. This is the time that the olive branch is out there for everybody who wants peace. This is the opportunity to show that you want peace and you want to build with each other. You know. So I mean, if you know if the outside entities, gangs and other cultures are willing to come together on one accord, we should be able to do it 10 times. So we got to get out of ourselves and for the greater good.
Okay, so ooh, they can you see our chat? Are you able to look on?
Yeah, I wasn't looking at it. But if you want to ask me a question, if they want to ask me a question from the chat, I'll try and answer it best I can.
Yeah, it's to ask him how much property has he invested in.
For the conscious community?
I guess when you were saying that you wanted to purchase the building and things of that nature, I'm fighting mosquitoes. So y'all forgive me if you see me looking back, fight with the mosquitoes.
No, we didn't grab the property for the conscious community because, for the simple fact, it has to be a group effort. I've already I believe I've already shown the community my investment by putting up the social site, the hours, the time, the money, and everything else. And the thing is, I couldn't get the type of participation that I wanted. So I started to put, earnest money on this property, but I just couldn't do it again. This has to be something that we all do together.
Well, I'm gonna do my best to most definitely reach out to people and start getting them onto the site and start doing things of that nature. And hopefully, what I'm saying, something can happen if that start happening. If it's a political process that's taking place, then the people with the most voters, with the most constituents, things of that nature.
What I'm hoping to do is that we could start politicking now, that people that are interested in running for these boards, like I say, we got a board of health. I actually talked with KT, the arts degree, and it's actually a board. So it would be other people, but we have a board of health and wellness. And one of the things that we were coming up with for one of the first projects was to come up with a food budget, a healthy food budget for a family of 6 for a whole month. So these are some of the things that our community would be involved in as far as some of the boards and stuff. So people that's looking to sit on like the health and wellness board, the political board, we have a board of economics. So, things that we want to look at to getting invested in. I know it was one group that was dealing with cryptocurrency. That's a factor that we want to move into, the conscious community. So those things we're looking to get into as far as with the economical board, showing investments and things like that. I actually went down to Boyce's thing, pay, you know, so I could talk to him, you know, pay the extra money so I could get that little time with him to actually talk to him about sitting on the economic board. He agreed, but you know how things go, and he's quite busy. But we can actually do this. You know, we've got some smart people in our community, and we have to really have to stop. I'm not saying stop looking at the leaders, but we need the community to step up. This is has nothing to do with scholarship. This has something to do with if you got that skill in it, then come on, step up. You know, nobody's asking you to recite the Circle 7 or anything like this. This is economics. We're dealing with the board of economics. You know, the board of education. So those things like that. You know, we're hoping that we can pull from the community, and we also have a board of media and communications. And my goal was to get people like yourself and other entities like cats that want to come on, like Rich, or even Sinetta and Black, in the Black, because these were the media groups that we were actually going to they were actually going to work together on making sure that our image was what we want our image to be. So we have a board of media and communications. The thing is actually getting all them together. But like I say, it's what do you want? You know what I'm saying? Do you really want to build? So,
well, have you had an opportunity to talk with the people at the Black Power Awards and see what they're doing, because they call themselves having different categories that might concur or equivalent to what's going on this site, and how the two entities could probably work together, relate together, and then that way, people can be rewarded for things that they're actually doing in the community based up on the online presence and the manifestation of it in the actual, communities.
Yeah, my goal, because the Black Power Award, they actually when they first were starting, they were looking for people who had networking skills or had certain skills, and I was actually going to spend some time volunteering my time to help them. And I got caught up in life, and also sort of got caught up with trying to deal with, every other day it's a situation popping up, a debate, somebody disrespecting and whatever, such and such, and I'm trying to get the community together. You know what I'm saying? And it was really wearing. You know what I'm saying? And very disheartening. So I would like to work with the Black Power Award. I would like to work with any and everybody. They have to look at us like if you're on Facebook, that's what we are. So if Black Power Awards is on Facebook, that's what we are. So just like they work with Facebook, we all could work together. That's where we fit in. We are that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking, because that's good networking. If they would have brought their event movement and stuff over to the website, then that would have been a great opportunity to come over there and tell people, to come over and join, and that's where you would get the insight on what's going on, make it more of an exclusive place. So I'm feeling it.
Yeah,
I'm understanding the network and how it should go down to a good degree. It saddens me that more people don't really get to hear or comprehend what's going on over there. So that's why I was so, hey, you gotta come talk, man. You gotta come tell the people, man. You know what I'm saying? They need it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, it was real disheartening. It was real disheartening because you hear a lot of people, or a lot of scholars or whatever online saying how we need unity, and when unity is presented, it's so it was really disheartening. It was a pissed off disheartening. You know what I'm saying? Where you'd be like, hey, 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 but like I say, I want us all to come back to the table. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was for me to get out here and actually uh, let people know, like you say, hear from the horse's mouth, and they can make
Well,
their own decision.
like the media outlet thing that you was talking about. First thing any media should have told you is you got to go out there and blow the trumpet. You the
Yeah.
one got to go push the
Now,
cart.
now, in Peel's defense, he did say that, but in my defense, our agreement was, we agreed that he would lead the charge if I built the site. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel that, but at the same
Yeah,
time, I'd have been like, man, get your ass out here and start talking
yeah.
to people, man.
So yeah, like I say, and where I'm, Chicago, all the whole, we ain't quick to put ourselves, do the social media thing. You have how should I say, my elders or whatever, they wasn't really feeling, how things were going with the back and forth and all that stuff, and I was catching sort of flack on that, dealing
It's a
with that.
different politics up there,
Yeah.
and yeah, I feel you 100%. But I mean, we got some word out there now. The people got more insight on exactly who you are vocally, and so on and so forth. They done heard from you, the investor, the one that's taking the time out, creating this or have created this. And now, hopefully, like I said, the information will draw them in more. Where some people might have thought it was a Sonetta base or back thing that might open up some doors now, because I'm telling you, with me, it was like, nah, that's some Sonetta stuff. I don't want to have nothing to do with it, because, most of the things that he was involved in was detrimental to the community. And I didn't want to put no time and effort into something like that. So that alone, now that people know that it's not involved like that, that it's something else, and it's someone else with a more clear-cut vision of where we need to go, might be a little bit more conducive for people to say, well, at least let me check it out, give it a chance. So once again, tell people how they can take the opportunity to come over and
Okay. Yeah, the site is consciouscommunity.com with the K. And once you get on the site, Merciel, you can look me up on the site. We're looking for people that's interested in being a part of the governing body. We have the Court of Appeals for Elders, the Board of Health, the Political Board, the Educational Board, and we also, for the media outlets, we have a board for them. So you can reach me, like I say, at Merciel at consciouscommunity.com.
so people, we gonna call it there. We're gonna call it. We need y'all to go over there, check out the site. Check it out. I mean, you can't hurt yourself by checking it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't
And we
see
all,
no
yeah. Oh, my bad.
detrimental.
And like I said,
Nah, I don't.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I don't see no act that's detrimental to you. So go check it out. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead now, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We also looking for ambassadors for each state so that we can start dealing like that, and that state can start getting organized with inside that. So but I definitely appreciate this, Israel, for the opportunity and the coaching as far as uh, getting me to come out here and actually let the people know. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, that wasn't my plan to be the one out here speaking about it. But if I have to, I keep seeing the community just in a down spiral, and evil triumphs because good men do nothing.
Yeah, it's a messed up job, but somebody got to do it. Somebody got to be there with a plan
Yeah, no
and be
doubt.
there when the stuff hit the fan.
Yeah.
It's a messed up job, but somebody got to do it. So that's why I encourage you. I'm glad to hear your voice, see you on here, and people take into the conversation. Hopefully they'll come join. Once again, check it out. When you join people, like he say, it's people that can help you. They'll hit you with a email, this, that, and like most sites and most things. It's a grassroots thing that's building from the bottom to the top. But even Facebook only let college students on there,
Yep.
so on and so forth, and different things until, you know, they open it up more, and then it became what it is today. Everything got to start from the bottom until it reach the top. So with that said, join the thing and you know, test it out for a month or whatever. You don't like it, never sign in again. But if you got an account and you don't sign in for a year and it start booming off the ground in a year, you always have a chance to just hit the little and come back in and say, oh, look at all my friends over here now. So, you know, participate.
Yeah. Yeah. Most
So
definitely.
with that said, you got any final words? We're going to close out.
Yeah. Like I say, the site is consciouscommunity.com. We're looking for the community to participate so that we can start building. It's time to start building. If the opportunity is here. So if you're serious, let's build.
All right, y'all. With that, we're going to say peace. But before I go, I got to close out my chat. So y'all won't be over here, you know, playing around in my chat when I'm gone. I don't want to have to come over here and police nothing when I'm out. So, peace.
Peace.
With that said, peace.